gotta look. I forgot. I've got email about the Dillon thing.
Oh, you got one coming up?
I'm pretty sure I do. I just not.
Just that post.
No, it's your suitcase showing carry around right here.
That's what I need. Thanks.
Huh?
Thanks, Daddy. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Daddy. I think I've got one on so far. It's like 10-2. I think I'm the only one on so far. So far. Yeah.
Clip the nails, but wait till the weekend. Second edition, old Jimmy Duffy. James Duffy. No, I don't ask for nobody.
Quit licking me. Okay. My glasses are off or something. They're terrible. There we go. Better. Hello, Miss Martha. I can't hear you. I did. Can you hear me? Me either.
Try the headphones. Plug them up and plug them in, put one ear up.
I'll try the headphones. Nope. Hello? Nope. Nope. That mouse popped up there.
There, I can hear you.
Yay! I'm
Hey,
trying to
how are
find
you doing?
again. Oh, I don't know
What?
what I did. I don't know what I did. I screwed up my Zoom. I can't see anything now. Oh, it's launching again. Hold on. So I can hear you now. That's good.
Good. I couldn't hear anything.
Me either. Come on. It just says launching.
Ah,
Zoom
well, I know
launch?
it's early, but it takes me a while to figure this thing out.
No, I got on real easily, but then it's not coming on now. Let me try again. Oh, there you are. Hello. Okay. Oh, I've got mail too. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Okay, Amy sent me a, see if it came through via messenger. Please text message, email it to you. Okay, let's see if my messenger worked. I'm trying to get that. Oh, messenger's up. Mindy! Okay, so now I'm going to do this. Okay.
Oh, there we go. Oh, good. And I can see my hair sticking up too. Hello.
Hello. How
Hello.
are you? Okay, so I have to get on Facebook. I have to check my messenger. I'm not getting the, maybe I can now. I couldn't get the document to pop up.
Oh.
I'm
Huh.
trying now. See if it'll-
Out of file.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't come up. I just got it.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
don't have it printed. I just have it up. I have two, the split screen going on. Oh,
Okay.
you look cute.
Well, don't I look? I have like a hair across my eye. Oh yes. It's called No Eyes today. I put lipstick on just for you guys.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Me too.
I looked at it and went, oh, I look terrible lipstick.
So hello, Martha and Mindy. Hello, Patty and Tracy.
Hey. Hey.
Uh, Tracy, our little vacationing girl.
Yay.
Silver Dollar to City today. We just did roller coaster after roller coaster after roller coaster.
That's my favorite vacation.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. We'd ride them 3 times in a row because the line was short. So we were like bound and determined we'd get our money's worth.
Lucky.
Good for you. Oh my gosh, that's great. Okay, well, let me see if I got my. What? I'm going to see if I can see if there's anybody else. Let's see.
I put Zoom folder somewhere with tracking sheets on it. But it's okay, you don't have to, but you need to learn how to use it.
Are you speaking with your husband?
Yeah, I told him he needed his, I made a money book out of a green folder, and I just told him he needed to learn how to use it.
Oh, that's great. Okay, Amy.
Hi.
Amy's coming up as Jerry.
Uh-huh. That's okay, because you're Mark.
I was going to say,
My dad's computer.
oh, okay. Okay. I thought that was kind of interesting. So, okay, good. So are you guys back from the hospital?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a long story. So we're still at the VA hospital, and they should get some CT results soon, and then we'll know what to do next. But we got some IV fluids, and that's what we wanted because I didn't want him to get dehydrated. So anyway, there we go.
It's hard to swallow drinks when your throat hurts.
Yeah. You continue to amaze me. So thank you for being on.
Certainly.
We love you, Jerry.
Yeah. Yeah. And look at those broad shoulders too of hers.
She can hold the world.
Coat on.
You got the whole Wonder Woman, Jerry and Wonder Woman going on.
Oh.
I'm here if no one.
Hi, Kay.
Hi, Kay.
Hi, Kay.
I just barely make it from adult choir practice at church. Like I'm racing in.
Well, we're glad you did. Okay. Okay. Caitlin Turnage says, I don't know how to get on. So I told her to look at Facebook. Is that?
I had to type in the HTTP website and get on that way. I had to type it into the bar. Mm-hmm.
That's what I did.
Yep.
So you guys couldn't hit the link?
The link wouldn't work for me.
Oh, there she is.
I hit the link.
I hit the
on my
link.
phone.
The link worked for me on the phone.
Oh, you did? Okay. Okay, good. All right. Well, she's on. Good. I'm glad you made it, Caitlin. I see her somewhere. You guys keep dancing around on my screen. So, okay. Well, shall we start?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I think we're supposed to be automatically recording. Oh, yeah. So it says pause or stop. So we'll just start recording. I mean, I think we are recording.
Yes.
Better. Okay, ladies. So we are going to talk about one of the most important things of running our own business, money management. And we're going to try to go over it in kind of a couple of different ways so that everybody can find their own style of keeping track. But I'll tell you, what I've noticed is that when you don't have money, when you don't have enough, when it's always a stretch to pay a bill or whatever, that is constantly on your mind. And we're not going to give you like a little pep talk or anything about that, except to say that we all know that what is on our mind is what we go towards. Mm-hmm. And isn't that terrible? I mean, I've always felt bad because it seems like people get in a bind financially, and then that's when they have a wreck, and then that's when some kind of big doctor bill comes up, and then that's when something else happens, and it's like it gets on a roll. And so first things first, because that's what my mind, I've always trained my mind to think about what you want and live, not spend in your possibility or in your future life or 6 months down the road, but think like that, work like that. Like, I've heard my mom and a million other directors say, like, sometimes you have to put yourself into how you would like to be, because you can see other people and think, gosh, well, it's easy for them. They're driving a pink Cadillac, or they're doing this or that. Well, they're making different choices. And so that's what we're gonna not go into that a ton tonight, but we are a little bit. But we're gonna teach you how to manage your money. If you manage it, then you can figure out if you need more. And quite honestly, if you need to make more, you got to make more. So one thing that Amy writes, what? Oh, anyway, and I'll let Amy kick her part off in just a little bit, but you guys, one thing I've noticed over the years, so many times, is I'll sit down with a girl that says, I don't know, I just don't know if I'm going to be in Mary Kay anymore. And I'll gosh, really, why? Well, I don't know. It just didn't seem like I'm making any money. And so I'll walk her back through, well, gosh, let's look at your orders. You've ordered this much. How much do you have left on your shelves? Oh, I don't even have any. Like, I barely have stuff on my, left. I said, well, so that right there would have been blank amount of money. And I've been told, no, I don't think so. I didn't make it. I don't know what happened to the product, but I didn't make that kind of money. Okay, well, that's one for the mystery books, right? Because clearly you did, but it was spent somewhere. So if we keep track of where we spend and then what we reorder and things like that, then we know what we're making. We can be honest with ourselves. I've also had people who have like maybe going to place an order and then had to maybe take their money and fix their car, and then don't know if they can do any Mary Kay anymore because they're kind of like, kind of messed over some customers and, just feeling all that angst and everything. And I said, but if you don't, what happens next time your car breaks down? And so sometimes we have to like be really tough with ourselves. This is when we have to put ourselves into being our boss. And so we'll go over that in just a little bit, what that looks like. But, that's what my mom used to always teach me when I was a little bit, I don't know, not quite fully understanding how it all worked and just excited I have money in my hand and wanting to spend it right out the door. But she said, if you do that, you don't have a job next week. It was that simple. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, Brenda, that's like, because at the time when I first started Mary Kay, I was working at Litwin's, a clothing store. And she said, because that is like you taking money out of the register after people are paying for their clothes, you taking the money out because you needed it, and then you wouldn't have a job anymore. They would fire you. That's how she put it to me, because I needed it like simple like that. So I said, okay, I won't do that. So Amy, I know you look at things like way more sophisticated than I do. And so you tell them like kind of what you're thinking as far as what we're going to talk about money management.
Okay, well, I think when it comes to money management, what I think of, Brenda, when you mentioned how people are living differently and spending differently, we need to live in our possibilities, but spend conservatively, right?
Yes.
What came to my mind when you said that was several books that I've read about millionaires and how most millionaires don't live or don't look like they would be millionaires. And they're millionaires because they are very careful with their money. They don't drive the latest car, wear the latest fashions, and those sorts of things. They tend to be more conservative in their spending habits. And so I think I think that's where we can, in today's society, we can just get really wrapped up in needing, well, in our businesses. Oh, I need the latest beauty coat. Oh, I need all these samples. Oh, I need to get all these seminar prizes, you know, or I mean, not prizes, but seminar souvenirs that the company makes available to us. And those are just a few minor examples of things that we can get wrapped up in when we're looking at all of the possibilities that the company has for us, which is great to have options. We just need to make really great, smart business decisions. And so I personally struggle with paperwork, and I have really had to work hard at making a decision that I'm going to track my money, because I've even tried to delegate it to other people and it never worked out. So what I've created in my life is on Sunday nights, I spend 15 minutes on my business finances and 15 minutes on my personal finances and just get those up to date each week. So that's what I've done for myself. Because what happens if I am not aware of where I'm spending my money and where I'm making my money and how much I'm making, then I feel like I'm just spinning my wheels and I'm not making any money, when actually I am. But I have to physically see it in order to feel it. Do any of you feel that way?
Yes.
Very visual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Brenda, I know that one of the things that I mentioned reviewing tonight is the business tracking register. Is that something that we want to do now, or at what point would you like me to launch into that? Or are there other things that you'd like me to cover first?
Well, you know what? It's up to you. But okay, well, before we cover this, which was on Facebook under our files. So if you want to print it, you can. If not, you can look at it later. We can tell you what it says. It'll be really easy. But first, let's talk just really quick about when we talk about 60-40, or are you going to cover that, Amy? Like, at what point do you do 60-40?
Go ahead.
Okay. So you guys, 60-40, like, we know that we make 50% of what we sell. We sell something for $20, we made $10. But the reason when we're going to talk about 60-40 is because you do want to have that 10% buffer to cover some of those expenses, like the PCP that we just did. That is important. It's different than a seminar souvenir that's fun. This is important, the PCP. So, and I applaud everyone who did it, by the way. So anyway, we're going to talk about 60-40, but let's talk about when you do, because when I first started, you know, my mom, of course, had plenty of inventory, but she was also in the Queen's Court of Sales every year on reorders alone. So she knew the inventory that she had for her customers. And I didn't really think about it when I started, but she said, well, you're going to need inventory for yourself. And as a woman, I would suggest that we get you, or you go get you a little loan so that you start establishing some credit. And so anyway, I mean, I trusted her. Why wouldn't I trust her, right? And that's exactly what I did. But I was holding a lot of parties. I was turning over product fast. And what I had started with would be like the equivalent of a $600 order, you guys. And it wasn't even enough to last me through a few parties, and I was running out of stuff. A lot of people, when you listen to inventory talks, they may have numbers, like, you know how the company has that sheet that you fill out when you're a new consultant. It says, if you want to do this, if you want to spend this much time, if you're going to go to your local events, like, you need this amount. My way of sharing with you what I think that you need, if you want to ask me or ask Amy, is if you can get through a month of your preferred activity. So some of you on here want to do 1 or 2 faces a week. Some of you want to do 10 to 15 faces every week. So that's a different amount of product needed for both. So let's just say if you could get through like a month without hardly running out of anything. Sometimes you run out of a certain color or something, but for the most part with your activity, if you can get through a month, then you've got enough inventory to run a business. And when I say run a business, I mean a business that people want to buy from, because we've all been asked to order something, and then sometimes it takes, weeks and weeks, feels like months to get it, and we don't always want to wait. Now, sometimes when you're new, people don't mind that at all, but they want to know that that's not going to be the norm, because women are so emotional. They want stuff quick, and usually when you say that you have it, they end up ordering more. Haven't y'all found that out? Yes.
Yes.
And whoever's doing paperwork, you might just. This thing is so touchy, I think so. So if you're shuffling or anything. Okay, so do you think that's fair? Like, some of you have been in for a while. Do you think that's a good way of looking at it? Like, if you can get through a month and you're doing the amount of parties that you want to do and you're not running out of stuff, do you think that's a good way to look at it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Once a
Okay.
month ordering.
Yeah, once a month ordering, because in that way you're only paying shipping once. You may have some, CDS orders in there. You may have some guest checkout orders. You might, but for the most part. Okay, so that's going to be different on everybody. But let's just, for the sake of that, say that we're all in that situation. We can do whatever we want for the month, the amount of activity we want in Mary Kay, and we don't run out of a ton of stuff, okay?
Right.
That is when you would start splitting 60-40. Until then, what I did and what I recommend is that you put the money back in. I mean, sometimes you have to build it up. Like, I didn't know how much I was going to need. I didn't know if I was going to like it that much. I didn't know, but I did know that if I had some, I would like it better, because my friends were young, so they weren't going to wait for it. But anyway, so I had to build it up. So I literally took no profit until I was at that point where I felt like I could get through a month without ordering or without needing a ton of stuff. Any comments or questions?
Kind of what I've been doing, building my inventory.
Okay, good. So
I'm trying to have like one of each out of the catalog, just so I have it on hand.
mhm.
And then more of things that I sell more of.
Right, because there's some stuff.
Mascaras and, yeah, exactly.
Right, some stuff you might not even need that one of, but for the most part, to have it when. Okay, well, good. So you're building yours up still.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else comments? Anybody ever start any kind of another business, or have you ever known anyone who started another business? Me. Oh yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So can you compare to us, Tracy? Like, I don't even know, like, the amount it costs to start a store like yours, or did you see profit instantly?
Oh, I'm not good with paperwork, but I definitely had a certain amount that I knew to start with and try not to go over that. But I mean, it's hard to compare the two. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see profit right away on anything I do, or I'm not going to stick with it. So that's just me.
Right. And you started with the full store because we knew that about you. Well, and because you live so far from everyone that it's like you had to be, it just made more, you didn't have to. It made a lot more sense to be able to deliver. Okay, so let me ask you this, because you guys, Tracy had the cutest store. It had like candles and jewelry, and she would prom dresses. I mean, it had a ton of just different, unique, fun purses and hats and everything. So if you sold those and like, let's just say it was a great seller, like you got 10 hats at market, but they were like gone in 2 weeks. What did you do at that situation then?
I ordered it right away.
Okay, so you didn't just go and spend that money.
Oh, no.
Okay,
No.
but if you would have, what would have happened?
Well, then I wouldn't have had money to order, and I love to order new stuff.
Okay, so you guys, it's no different. I have a feeling she's talking about a lot more money than what we're talking about. And almost every business out there is so much more, but yet we have to treat ours, even though it's not a huge amount, we have to treat it like the same way, because if we sell all our eye makeup removers and don't have any for a while and people want some, they're going to remember the person who can deliver it quickly versus, so anyway, so this isn't about customer service or delivery, but Amy, let's talk 60/40. Is that a good enough setup for where we are to do 60/40?
Sure, absolutely. And like you said before, the 60/40 split is something that Mary Kay has always taught us to do. And the reason being, even though we make a 50% profit, like you mentioned before, we want to have a 10% cushion out of our profit to cushion for business expenses, because we want 60% of the 100% to be for business expenses and the 40% to be for our profit. Now, of course, like you mentioned, that is once we have our inventory at a level where we want it based on our activity, right? Okay, so now that we have the inventory where we want it, and we're going to split our funds 60% for our business, 40% for our profit. That's why Brenda posted this business tracking register. And this is also, now Brenda, was this something that you got from brendafenner.com? I don't know if you can see it. It looks kind of like this.
Yes, it was from brendafenner.com. Under resources, under business management, and then you had to scroll down quite a ways. But
Okay, great.
it's in the same area as another sheet that talks about 60/40 that has a pink pig. So if you look for that, you can find it.
Great. Okay. And I think you can also find it on Mary Kay InTouch as well. So there's a couple different ways that you can locate it. But that business tracking register is really similar to like a checkbook register. However, I know that with modern technology, the frequency of people using a checkbook register is going way down because they check their checking account balances online or their debit card balances online rather than writing it in a checkbook register. So this may be a newer concept to some people, but not to others. So that's why I wanted to kind of compare it to a checkbook register. But what you do is each transaction that you have, you're going to document it. Any money going into your account, you're going to document it. Any money going out of your account, you're going to write it down to track it and keep track of it. So that's where the 60/40 split comes into play. So on that business tracking register, you can see the 100% is split up into 3 different categories. 50, whoops, somebody sent me a text, okay. Okay, you can see 50% for business inventory, 10% for sales tools, and 40% for business income. Can I hold it up to the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay if I hold it like that?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Okay, so when let's say you have a party and it's a $215 in sales. Okay, so now you've gone and done this party. Yay! So you're not going to go, oh no, my husband's tire blew on his truck. I'm going to take that money and go, fix the tire. Well, you can, but not with the whole $215. Okay, so we're going to take that example and see how much we can contribute toward her husband's tire. Okay, so let's take a look on the left-hand side. Of course, you're going to, in the date, you're going to write in the date. And then you're also going to write in the reason. So what you're doing, you're depositing $215 because you had a party. So you can maybe say, this is Joni's party in the little note. And then under the deposit, you're going to split the deposit total into the total sales without tax. And then you're going to have that in the sales tax, put in the little sales tax column. So out of your $215 sales, figure out that $200 is your sales without tax and $15 is the tax that you collected. And the reason we want to set that aside is so that when we go and place our inventory orders, we have that tax money set aside to apply toward our order, okay? And so we're not having to take that out of our profit. So that's what the way you want to break it down is your total deposit, break that up into deposit without tax, and then the tax amount in those two little columns. Brenda, am I doing okay so far?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. And so now, how do we do the 60-40 split now that we have our total amount in there? We've got $200 in the sales without tax, $15 in the sales tax. So what do we do now? How do we do the 60-40 split? We do the 60-40 split out of the sales without tax. We take that number, which was $200 from our party, and that number is what we split up into, okay, Brenda's using her calculator for me. Thank you. Okay, so that's what we take and split up into the 50% inventory, 10% sales tools, 40% business income. So, Brenda, out of the $200, 50% is for inventory, right? So
Yeah.
that's $100 that's going to go into the inventory because we need to place an order eventually, right away, or it may be in a little while, to replace the products that we sold. And then 10% of that $200 is going to go into the sales tools for things like preferred customer program, tools. What else, Brenda? What other things will we take out of the sales tools?
Well, ordering books like lookbooks or trays, sales tickets.
Absolutely. Yep.
Washcloths.
Washcloths, yes. And then our business income is 40% of that $200, which is that the $80?
That was the part. That was the part I went straight to.
You went straight for the profit, of course.
Yes.
We all do. That's awesome. But that is the amount then that you're going to be able to give to your husband, help him with his blown tire. Okay, that 40%. So that's what's really important for us to know and see that number. I mean, it takes just a little bit of self-discipline whenever we have a party or whenever we make a deposit from a week's worth of sales. It takes just that little bit of self-discipline to jot that down, and then you can be so excited. I have $40 that I can give to my husband to help with his tire.
$80. $80.
Sorry. $80. Thank you, Susan. The 40%, which equals $80, to give to my husband, or maybe you have set a goal to take your family on vacation and you're seeing that add up, and you can just get more and more excited each time you see the numbers grow. Or maybe you've decided, you know what, once a month, I'm going to take my family out to dinner. You know, there's all sorts of really fun things that we can do with our profit. So Brenda, that is how but that's how you do the 60-40 split.
Right, right. That's excellent. And I'll tell you what, you guys, over the years, I've heard of so many different suggestions, shall we say, for how people were able to keep that straight. So sometimes I think that although our boyfriends or our husbands or our parents wouldn't let us just grab their purse and take out all their money, or we couldn't go into where they work and just help ourselves to stuff, right? But for some reason, they think that like our Mary Kay money bag's like a free-for-all. Now, I'm not saying all of us. I'm just saying in the past, I have had that told to me so many times. And so women have had to kind of make a conscientious effort to kind of hide that, you know, like only put the 80 or Susan, are you wait, don't let your husband hear where we're going to hide it now. No, you know, and quite honestly, it's not husbands. Sometimes it's
right.
Sometimes it's
give it to our children and whatever else we do with it, right?
Absolutely. So it doesn't matter. It's kind of figuring, like Amy said, figuring out how to make it work for you so that you can see the profit, you can feel good about your business, and you can know that you don't have to worry about money all the time, but you have a vehicle that'll allow you to make more whenever you want to. Mm-hmm. That's what I think. That's the part I love. And you guys, I just want to remind y'all, I don't know if I told you this last week. I don't know. It's all getting kind of mixed up. But anyway, it was probably a week and a half ago, we had this discussion at our church home group. And 2 of the men have recently lost their jobs. And then one of them now has a job, and one of them is on a commission-only job. And him and his wife are very panicked. You know, they're very nervous. And I talked to Mark afterwards because, of course, him and I are both what you'd consider, I guess, commission-only. Not really, but kind of really we are. And that's how I've always been. So can you imagine at 19 years old, I was living on my own. Mary Kay was my only job. I was paying all my bills. I had nobody to go to if I slipped up. So if I spent all of my $215 and then I spent it again the next night and then I spent it again and then I had no product, I would have had to go get a job. And like, to me, I didn't want to do that. So I had to really work hard to discipline myself. But can you imagine? So from 19 to 31 years old, I lived on my own and paid every single bill, never one time asked for 1 cent from anybody. And I just tell you that to tell you that it's possible. Now, granted, our friends that are nervous about being like that are in a different state because their mind is you go to work 8 to 5, you get paid, and then you hope you have some left over. Like their mind for so many years has just been to get a paycheck every 2 weeks. So Mark and I were really trying to talk to him because, you know, this could be a fabulous possibility for them. This could be a whole new way of living if they don't panic so much they, you know, go and get a job that they don't want. So anyway, I'm thankful that I started at such a young age that I didn't have a huge overhead. So I know that when people have a bigger overhead, it is more scary. So I'm not like patting myself on the back or anything, but I'm just saying that if you are aware, you can do whatever you want. So here's another way I want you to look at it. You can look at this and go, okay, so my average over the past month has been bringing in about $600 a month, but really what would make us more comfortable is like $800 a month. What do I need to do? And then you can ask yourself, does my customer base, is it big enough that if I called them more and service them more, I could, you know, do better at getting them on more product? Or do I need to throw in another party? Because, you know, do you realize that if you threw in one more party a week, somebody should add this up for me. So let's just say one more party every week for 3 months. So what's that? 12 parties at, say, $200.
$2,400.
Okay. And then we know that our 40% is going to be what, $80 from every party. So, or whatever 40% is.
960.
960.
960 over that 3 months time, right? So there's your extra $300 a month that you needed, plus some extra. So what I love about Mary Kay that I never want us to forget is that we're not going to keep all those customers we met in that one party a week, but let's just say we kept 2 of them a week. So we just got 8 new customers over a period of a month, which to, 8 times 3, right? 24. That now we have their reorders coming in. So now even if we back down and take that party out, we've got more of a reorder clientele than we had before to help us make that up. You guys, most jobs aren't giving you those kind of options, are they?
No,
No.
not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, you know what else we didn't talk about is that your love checks, do you have to do 60-40 on those?
No.
Can you spend them all on shoes if you want to?
Yes.
Yes.
Or you can spend them all on bills, or you can, stick them away to buy a new house. I mean, you can do whatever you want with those love checks. So that's another way to think about bringing in additional money. And I know that in our units, we don't talk about that a lot for the money aspect of it, because really we talk about that when we're talking about what we can do to help other women and sharing and stuff. But you guys, it's a huge money maker. I mean, after you have your first 3, team members, every time you get another one, then you get not only the percentage, but then you'll get your bonuses too. So we won't go into that kind of money making, but that's in addition to your sales. And the more parties you do, the more you're going to meet people that you're going to find that want to be on your team or that want a business like Mary Kay has to offer.
Okay.
Isn't that a great way to look at it? So
Yes.
another thing is, you guys, all businesses have expenses. All businesses have expenses. So can you imagine, like, we're giving ourselves a lot of cushion because we do get 50%. And that's not including like the free product bonuses and like the Biz Builders bucks. Do you know every time you get a Biz Builders bucks, which is partially why I believe in ordering like once a month if you can,
Right.
It's like it repays you for the shipping.
Yeah.
So that's always good.
Yeah.
But think of these companies, like a lot of the companies that you're hearing so much about, they're hyping themselves so much. From my past history, they'll probably be gone in a year or 2. But right now they're hyping themselves like crazy. Most of them are making 20 or 30% of what they sell.
Mm-hmm.
And they still have as many, if not way more expenses than we do. Because Mary Kay covers so much of what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, okay. Any questions, like any stumping points on money management or, questions that you might have?
Well, Brenda,
Mm-hmm.
I've always said you should not give discounts out, because when I give a discount, I have to take that out of my profit, don't I?
Oh, yeah.
I've never really done that because I've never added in what I get for extras, like from the company. But I'm not a big discount person either. I love gift with purchases.
Mm-hmm.
So, but honestly, like, I've never been one to keep track of those, because by the time, as long as at the end of the year you can give your tax person the amount of sales that you've had, like every sales ticket that you've written down, and for some reason on those new sales tickets, you guys, we're kind of not putting the dates on them all the time. Does anybody else find that the date's a little bit like,
Yes.
okay, thank you. So anyway, we're going to have to really watch that. But sales tickets, and then you have every printout that you could have that comes in from your orders. You always save those. And I mean, you guys, even with my business, the size it is, we just have an expandable folder. I throw all my stuff in a folder, and then we put it in one of those expandable things. So we just put the sales tickets eventually, the product order sheets, and then any receipts, any expenses. Yeah. And if in doubt, just keep the expenses and write on your sales tickets. But my point, sorry to get off track. So if you show that you ended the year with this much inventory, you added this much, you sold this much, and there's like some discrepancy right there, Martha, that's going to go out with your cost of goods sold. So I asked my accountant, who does a ton of Mary Kay stuff, I said, do I need to keep track of the difference between what I demo and what I use personally? Because sometimes I'll open something for like a demo product, and then sometimes it's for me, and he said, you can keep track for your own good. It's not going to hurt, but I don't need those numbers because it shows in your cost of goods.
Okay.
Now, you might want to ask your accountant, because that is different than like the one we had years ago. So I was keeping track. So I don't know that you have to show, unless you're a very detailed person and you want to show all of that.
Okay.
Brenda?
Okay. So you just, if the product's missing, you just consider that product that you gave
As a gift.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Brenda, one thing that I wanted to mention is that, one thing that you might want to do is pay yourself for product that you personally use.
I do.
Because, for example, if I am, or at least take it out of your profit bucket and transfer it into your inventory bucket, because I think all of us, honestly speaking, can say that we are our own best customer.
Yes.
I hope so.
One for them and one for me, you know what I mean? And so we need to be really careful that that's not another way that we are bankrupting our business, is by just using all of this product. And so what that would look like is keeping track, and what Brenda taught me to do is rip the top off of my product and stick them somewhere, and then like once a month you can add that all up, and then what you do is you take it out of the profit, out of the 40% profit, you just do like Amy's product and in the notes section, and then you take that amount out of the profit and transfer it into the 50%. That way you can have that, you're not bleeding yourself dry by your own personal use. So that's something that I wanted to mention real quick.
Right.
And you know what? I've had people also write themselves, they write their business a check or charge it or whatever for the part that the wholesale cost.
Mm-hmm.
They're not paying full retail, but either way, it turns out the same.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I actually like that idea better, because it's coming out of your household expenses, which you would be spending on that sort of stuff anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you're maintaining your profit for what you really want to spend it on.
Well, and you know what? That's a great point, because here's another thing that I've seen happen that we want to be really careful of, is things like, we give away gifts out of our inventory to something that, is really awesome because we're helping our family. We would have spent $50 on something for these people, but because we took it out of our inventory, we only have to pay $25. But if we're doing our business justice, we'd at least pay our business $25.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And tell our family account that we got it on sale for 50%.
Yeah. There you go. What
Well,
a deal.
I know. True. So, but it's good because when you discover those little leaks or those little things that you think, oh gosh, I haven't even realized how much is going out there or here or whatever, you know, like when some of you have gone through different seasons like I have with weddings and showers and graduations like all at once, and you're like, whoa, like that's hundreds of dollars if you're giving them stuff that has to do with Mary Kay, which is great because it's better than giving them hundreds of dollars
In
back
cash.
body or whatever.
Yeah.
Or cash. Yeah. So, okay. Anybody else questions? Because that's really helpful to Martha, that you brought that up and we could talk about a few more things. You know, seminars coming up, you guys. I really don't, there's certain times I'm not liking this Zoom, and that's tonight. But anyway, that's okay. We just show how good our products are next week. But seminars coming up, for instance, you know, the thing that really like, I don't want anyone to do to themselves, and I don't want to hear it because I'll be upset, is someone go, oh my gosh, I just don't have the money to go. Well, we've known about it for like a year, or if you've just been in since December, you've known about it since December, or hopefully we've talked to you about it. If not, we better start doing our job better. But, you know, just putting away a little bit of money, you guys, it's probably one of the least expensive conferences. And for the, you know, and you get more bang for your buck than any woman could go to. But we don't want it to like make your family feel like, oh my gosh, we didn't get to go to, you know, a family vacation because mom went to that Mary Kay thing and spent all of our money. You know, we never want it to be anything like that. So put away a little money so that when that registration comes due, you're not feeling like, oh my gosh, you know, yikes. But at the same time, here's another idea of where you can turn on your own power and stretch your own business, you know, capabilities of owning your own business. Seminar registration is going to come out. It's going to be a couple $100 that we weren't planning on unless we were thinking ahead. So you know what? What about do something like a party or something that just until you get the profit for that? Because whenever that would happen to me, and I still do it, which is kind of funny, like those early on habits don't ever leave you. But whenever I would do that, there's something that felt really good about it. It's like a waitress, you know, the only way they have to make extra money is to pick up extra tables, to go in extra hours, to stay later for the people who are staying past midnight when the place closed at 10. But you know what? If that's where they get the extra money, then hurrah for them. Like they got to feel good about doing it because they were willing. And we have a much easier job than that, right? So just know that you can do that for yourself.
Yay!
Yes.
Empowering.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. All right. Any other questions?
I had one, I forgot. Oh, what about, like I've donated a package of products for a fundraiser. Is it the same as like personal use and gift?
You know what? That's what my accountant now that we've used for a couple of years is saying. I will tell you that what I started doing, because it kind of, I don't know, it made me nervous. I'm like, how do I prove where it went or what I did with it, you know? So I have started like either writing it on a sales ticket or typing it up. So I've discovered that whenever you do that, it is so much better if you have like a big, bold, printed, typed, pretty explanation of what's in there. Otherwise, they end up going, here's a Mary Kay basket, you know? So then I would just keep a copy of it, put who I donated it to, and just stick it in there. I never pulled it out and separated it, but if I needed to, I could.
So then, Brenda, would you take that money, let's say it was a $50 retail gift basket, would you take the $25 wholesale plus tax and pay yourself out of your personal finances, or how would you account for that so that you do not bleed yourself dry once again out of your inventory, because that is money that you need to reorder product that you've taken off your shelves?
Well, or would you pay it from your business account? That's, because it is a business expense.
Well, it's not really a business expense when you just donate it to somebody like that. You know what I mean?
Right. It's not an expense. What am I trying to say?
It is a tax. It's a tax write-off.
It's a write-off.
Yeah. So you absolutely would take the tax write-off, but you could either deduct that money from your profit and transfer that over into your inventory bucket, or pay yourself. Brenda, what were you going to say?
You don't want to know my answer, Amy.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I know that
Off the record.
I just know that we, that's just one more way we can bleed ourselves dry.
You know what? So let me think about this. So right now I have plenty of inventory, so I'm coming from a different place. Honestly, when I didn't do things like that. So I guess maybe that's where I'm like, I'm just sort of running through my head. So right now I don't feel the need to do that. But when I didn't have inventory and somebody wanted me to donate something, I'd be like, oh gosh, I'm selling stuff. It's like, I can't even hardly keep it on my shelves. Can I maybe do it next year? So I think that's why maybe I never had to think about that when I was in that situation of bleeding my inventory. But I think that's so smart, because you're right. Let's just think about it. So you and your husband take a new product out this week, and then you donate something, and then somebody has a birthday party. Suddenly you look at your shelves and go, I thought I had stuff, and you don't. So it is wise to keep track of everything and decide what to do. So I guess that would, Deanne, depending on how you sit is how you would do it.
Yeah.
Sit as far as inventory.
Right. Okay.
Sometimes
Amy's idea kind of is easy for me to comprehend or get my mind around, just taking out of that business income, that 40%, and then just moving it out of inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Or back in the inventory bucket.
Because see, here's what happens. It's the reason why we get ourselves in trouble with credit cards or with the Apple Pay on our phones. We don't see the money going anywhere, so we're like, where did it all go? And that can happen with our business as well. We need to see and have that money move from our profit into, or from our personal checkbook into our business account, so we can go, oh yeah, I'm spending money.
Yes.
Right.
And you guys, and that's exactly, so when I was on back in the day, we didn't have credit cards. And so what I did is I worked out of my little money bag, and I put every check in there and every bit of cash. And so sometimes I would find myself thinking, gosh, I had a $300 party and a $200 party, and I feel like I have $100 in here. Where is it? So what I started doing, this was my little technique that I made up for myself, and it sounds so stupid, but here's what I did. Okay, so I'm driving down the road. I need to stop and get gas, and I need $20, and the only money I have is in my money bag. So I would put, I owe you $20, and I would take this and I would put it in my money bag in place of the $20. And then later that week, when I had to pay something, and oops, it wasn't Friday yet, and I hadn't divided up my money yet, and I needed money, I owe you. And then if I had to do it anymore, whether it was $5 or $2, so then at the end of on Fridays, when I divided my money, which is how I did it, and then I put my Mary Kay money in because I did have two accounts, my business and my checking, I would count it all up. And then anything like this went in the 40% pile. And it was terrible. It was so sad, because I couldn't spend these anymore. I had already spent them. It was no good paper.
Yep.
But it's exactly what Amy's saying. It was visual for me. And so I could no longer say, oh, where'd the money go? Oh, did it, you know what I mean? It was so whatever it takes for you to wrap your arms around it. I know that a lot of people have done Dave Ramsey's courses. Amy's done it. My sister-in-law's done it. A lot of people have done financial training with Dave Ramsey. And a lot of it is you become more aware. You become more aware. And you're right. The credit cards, you know, people are so maxed out on credit cards because they don't have to write in their check registry. You know, I mean, if you think about it, if we had to do a check registry on our credit card, would we just swipe it so often?
No.
No.
So any of these tools that can help your Mary Kay business flourish into what it deserves to be and what you can be, that's what Amy and I want to do. So if you guys need help on a, you know, kind of in a personal situation or revamping, or if you want to tell us, okay, I have this much inventory, but I feel like blah, 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 this is where my money's going, this is where my time's going, we can try and help you with that. I mean, I don't know that we're experts to some degree. We just can't hold your hands as far as decision making. But the other thing is sometimes just thinking twice about it. You know, calling somebody and saying, okay, do I really need to get blah, 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 blah. I mean, sometimes when you said seminar souvenirs, Amy and I hadn't even talked about that. But I was cracking up, you guys, because I don't even get as many seminar souvenirs as you guys get. And so if you think about it, if you order those before you even go, you've started like the whole trip with spending a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, little things like that, if we can tweak it and have you making more instead of feeling like you're not sure where it went, that's what I love. My mom was an expert because she is frugal as frugal is. And I don't know if she was, did all her deliveries on one day because of being frugal about gas or frugal about time, but it's one of the smartest things that she taught me, because think about it, that's a money saver too. You plan on your deliveries. I mean, she did her 24 deliveries downtown, and then we went into that Nick's neighborhood, and then we went over to here, and then we went over to here, and she could do thousands of dollars in deliveries in 3 or 4 hours time because she planned. She never ever ran across town and ran back and spent that gas money and spent time and all that. So anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But all these little things that we just want to help you with so that your business can grow and flourish and you can be excited about it, and your boyfriends and husbands and kids can see what it's doing, not just for you being happy and having fun and changing other people's lives, but so it can make a difference in your own life.
Absolutely. And another thing too, if this is an area where you really need help, Brenda or I can help you get set up. Like Brenda said, we're not going to hold your hand every step of the way, but we're more than happy to help you get situated so that you feel confident in applying these principles. And here's the deal. No matter what your financial situation is, there is no shame in it, because I think sometimes people are really nervous about talking about their money, or maybe they're embarrassed because they haven't been tracking it or been managing it a certain way. Let me just tell you, I have made about every stupid money decision that there is on the planet, okay? I've been there, I've done that, and that's why I'm so passionate about helping you all make better decisions, because I don't want you to have to live through the pain and the bounce checks and the debt and all that stupid sort of stuff. I want to help you come out of that and make better choices. So I just had to put that out there, because There's no embarrassment here. We are here to help you.
Oh yeah, and there's so many top directors and nationals that could tell you just horror stories, because most of us haven't run our own business to begin with. So it's a little bit of getting your feet wet and having a few mistakes, but we just want to get out of that as much as possible. So I appreciate you all being on tonight.
Yay.
Reach out and hug all of you. And for our new people, I'm so proud of you for just learning right off the bat. So if anything we said is a little confusing, then of course we want to talk about that. And so anyway.
God, sorry.
Hey, would you make your kid be quiet, Deanne?
These children, they interrupt.
Okay.
Well, that's really helpful for me because I think I've taken advantage of my business and not treated it with respect, because I always had another job, and if I needed money, I'll just pay for seminar out of my own pocket. I'll just pay for this out of my own pocket. If I need money, I'll just transfer money. And so it really just was the dumbest thing I ever could have done, because then I really never was treating my business like a real business, and I never knew how much I was making, and I never got, like you said, Brenda, that feeling of accomplishment or sense of pride where, wow, I just really made myself, 40%, $200 or $80. Go spend it. Go buy a new pair of shoes or whatever. It just, I just never gave it that respect. So I'm going to do that, because I think that'll give me just that discipline will give me a sense of pride out of my business, where it really can pay me some extra, instead of just feeding it with my own money.
Right.
And bleeding it dry with, gifts and products and freebies and all that stuff.
Well, good. All right, ladies. Well, anything else? Anybody else? I appreciate you being on. I appreciate participating in Zoom from wherever you came from.
I need to hear it 15 times before I understand it, so thank you.
Oh, well, it's a good thing we recorded this.
Thanks, guys.
It only took me 20 years.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.